This is Golden Hill Fort. On the 27th of January 1918, Quartermaster Sergeant Michael Carroll marched up this track to his death. Michael Carroll was born on the 25th of May 1880 at number 4 Wild Boar Street in Bradford. His mother was Mary McNulty, who was born in Ireland, and his father was Thomas Carroll, who was a general labourer and also of Irish descent. The family were living at Irving Street, Bradford, at the time. Meanwhile, in Wellow on the Isle of Wight, on the 6th of August 1888, farm labourer James George Jerrett and his wife, Emma Jane Jeffrey, welcomed a second daughter to the world, Dora Gertrude Jerrett. She was born just 16 months after her older sister, Elsie Ann Jerrett. The family soon moved to a farm in Freshwater. By 1901, Michael Carroll, who had joined the Army Reserve, was also learning joinery, but it wasn't long before he became a professional soldier and he was posted to Hurst Castle. Michael and his best friend Frederick Payne would make the short 1.3 mile boat journey to Fort Albert to spend time in and around the Freshwater area. They might have first met the Jerrett girls at the Freshwater and Yarmouth Horticultural Society show that used to be held every August. Local farmers would attend and show and have their produce judged. The Jerrett and Burford families are on record as having regularly attended. On the 7th of September 1902, Samuel Burford married his first wife Alice Newman at All Saints Church in Freshwater. They were married by the Reverend Joseph Merriman, whose sermons were apparently long and tedious. One Sunday in March 1903, 15-year-old Elsie Jerrett and her 23-year-old boyfriend James Edwin Fenton decided to leave church at the beginning of the rector's sermon and walk the 1-mile trek to his parents' home in Middleton. As the rest of the family was still at church, they took advantage of the situation. On the 12th of November 1903, Elsie gave birth to a baby girl called Ivy Dora Jerrett at the Causeway. Fenton attempted to deny paternity, but due to obvious lying under oath about the dates of the conception, he was ordered to pay 2 shillings and 6p per week until Ivy's 16th birthday. There was a potential for a Zulu uprising in South Africa in late 1905. Michael Carroll spent Christmas with Dora at the Causeway and departed with the army. On the 10th of September 1906, Dora gave birth to a baby boy who was registered as Mark Snaith Carroll Jerrett, as his father was still absent at the time of his birth. On the 23rd of January 1907, Elsie Ann Jerrett married Frederick Payne, with the witnesses of their marriage being Dora Jerrett and Michael Carroll. They were married by Reverend Andrew Robertson. Michael Carroll was Catholic, and he married Dora at St Thomas's Catholic Church in Ryde in January 1908. She was 8 months pregnant at the time with their second child, and Thomas William Carroll was born on the 19th of February 1908. Their older son Mark was baptised and officially became a Carroll. During the next few years, the Carroll family were quite nomadic. They lived in Freshwater, Hurst Castle and Bradford, having babies in all those locations. On the 22nd of March 1913, Samuel Burford's wife Alice tragically died from a deep vein thrombosis weeks after giving birth to their last child together, Amelia. When World War I broke out on the 4th of August 1914, Michael departed for France with 3 of his brothers, his best friend Fred Payne and Sam Burford. Dora got a job at Golden Hill Fort as laundrywoman. Michael spent 3 years away from his wife and 6 children, and Dora had an affair with Quartermaster Sergeant Henry Samuel Shead while her husband was fighting in the trenches. Michael Carroll returned to Freshwater in September 1917 and discovered that his wife had had a 1-year-old baby called Albert John Carroll. He forgave his wife but went after Shead, who he knew to be the father, and beat him up and forced him at gunpoint, kicking him along the road to their home at Diamond Cottages in New Village, and made Shead apologise to them both. Henry complied, but Carroll only put the gun away when Dora cried, "Michael, think of the children!" After Shead refused to fight Carroll, Michael said, "There are some more to come, Shead. This doesn't finish it." Michael Carroll returned to fight in France, but then came back to Freshwater on home leave. On the 27th of January 1918, and finding out that Shead was still at large, he resumed his feud and made it clear to everyone that he was after him. He went to Golden Hill Fort to confront him. Shead was hiding in a colleague's quarters, but Carroll soon found out after inquiring of his whereabouts in the sergeant's mess. Michael Carroll went up to the door of Sergeant Allen's quarters and shouted, "Now I have caught you, Shead! Open this door!" When the demand wasn't met, Carroll forced the door and lunged towards Shead, who was brandishing a revolver he had acquired from a German soldier in France in 1914. 2 shots were fired in short succession, and Michael Carroll fell to the ground, dead. Subsequently, Henry Shead was charged with murder, but he was tried on the charge of manslaughter. Partly due to Dora's testimony at the trial at Winchester Crown Court, he was acquitted. Losing the father of her children left Dora in a state of destitution. She was also pregnant with her and Michael's 7th child. Her 5 youngest children were placed in orphanages for destitute children run by the nuns of the Sisters of Nazareth. Sam Burford returned from the war in late 1918, and in February 1919 he and Dora married at All Saints Church, Freshwater. They had 3 children together, Kathleen, Sybil and Trevor, but Albert John Carroll tragically died on the 16th of March 1924 at Nazareth House in Southampton, aged just 7, from acute laryngitis. His siblings had been housed at the Southsea branch. On the 22nd of September 1925, Thomas Carroll and his step-grandmother Ellen Burford successfully applied for the release of Marjorie Carroll from Nazareth House in Southsea, and the family gradually got the Carroll children back once they were 15. Dora Gertrude Burford died on the 3rd of April 1949 from hepatitis and gastric issues at Ryde Hospital. She was 60 years old. She was my children's great-great-grandmother. Without the tragic deaths of Alice Maud Burford and Michael Carroll, my children and grandchildren would never have existed. Thank you for watching, and if you have any photographs of the people in this story, please contact me.